This is a portable power station, 600 watt outdoor power station, 595 watt hours. So it'll be interesting to see how much and how long we can actually power stuff with this. This is solar charging, so outdoor travel companion. Like a plug-in power adapter there to charge it. It's like a cigarette lighter charger there. So it's 12 volts. Guess that probably weighs about, I don't know, not very heavy. Nothing else in the box. As you can tell, I like orange. It's kind of rubbery feeling. It's kind of like a rubber deal and hard plastic. So I wonder if it already comes with a charge. Yep, so we're 80% charged. AC plug in there, 12 volt, 10 amp. I'm not really sure. I guess that's where you would plug in your power is at. It's not a touch screen. So 99 hours of power because we're doing 0 watts. So it looks like we can charge some things in that. There's a 3.0 USB. Oh, there's where your power input would be at. Oh, light. Oh, brighter. Oh, flashing. Oh, that was really bright. I can't see now. So this is basically your inverter, charge controller, and everything all in one. So I would guess that you could plug in your solar panels into one of these for charging. I don't have to read the directions to find out. It'd be pretty cool if we can get a couple plugs like this down at the that's your ground wire, so you turn your ground wire up or down and stick it in there, and you have to worry about having a ground on this system. So pretty cool. I'm hoping we can set this up down there at the chicken coop and we'll have a light, and I'll get an outlet for a couple more lights down there, and maybe even a little space heater if we need it. Well, I wanted to start playing with this right away, but it said I'm supposed to charge it to 100% first. So we'll let that sit there and charge all the way. I did find out though that this is for your solar panel. So the little cigarette lighter hooks up directly into the unit, and then this will hook up to your solar panels on this side. It hooks onto a 100 watt solar panel, which I don't have, so I don't really have a good way to test that. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work. So in the instructions here, it gives a couple basic hours that it would charge something. This looks like for a mini fridge you do 10 hours, for a fan 17 hours. I'm trying to think of someone here that I'd be using, maybe a laptop, I guess 8 hours. I guess if you're going on a trip or something. There's some of the basic instructions. There's where it talks about using the solar panel to charge it. You can also use this to charge your battery on your car. There's a couple other options on there that I need to figure out. Well, this guy has been charging for 2 hours, 2 full hours, and we're only up to 99%. So we've gone up basically from, well, 20% in 2 hours. So it is definitely a slow charger, that's for sure. Alright, so I've come to the realization that this is never going to reach 100%. So 99 is the best we can get out of it. It's been literally hooked up to 120 volts for 4 hours now, I think. Okay, I noticed that I was going to use this my present here down at the chicken coop, but figured I'd give it a shot in this little remodel we're working on. So the floor here is soft. It's just the sawdust stuff, and it's falling apart. A couple of years ago we replaced some of the other flooring, and now we're back to do this section, which is getting pretty rough. So I'm going to see if this can handle running a skill saw. So it says that it's got 600 watts out of the outlet. This is a 13 amp by 120 volts. So that's roughly around 1500 watts. So the highest 1500 watts, that's most likely when it first starts up, is that initial surge. I don't know what the surge is on here. I guess we're going to find out here pretty soon if it will take that or if it will kill it. So we should see. If it does overpower it, I should just get a warning that it's been overpowered and doesn't want to work anymore. Turned on here. So we're at that 99%. Like I said the other day, it wouldn't get up all the way to 100. I think I need to hit that. Nope, didn't work. Nothing. So it tries, but it kills it right away. So it does that, I get an error message. And that would appear it just shut down altogether. I broke it. Well, I guess that was the end of that. So I got an error message. Oh, now it's turning back on. So it must have had a little period where it had to wait a little bit because it was trying to figure out what the heck I just did to it. It looks like we're back up and running now. So yeah, will not run a skill saw. There you go. So I'll set that aside. Luckily I do have power in here, so I can go ahead and just plug on in and get to cutting this out. Alright, skill saw did not work, so we're going to try the drill now. So this is 5.5 amps times my 120 volts. Gives me over that 600. Let's see if I error out again. Well, I get it turned on. There we go. So the drill's tapping out at about 280 watts. Let's see if I do it real fast. So if I crank it really quickly, it's going to error out on me. And the reason why is that your starting amps is always going to be higher. So just to get the motor spinning is going to be harder to get going. So if I just zip it real quick, it'll kill it. If I start slowly, so my running watts is 280, my starting watts is over that 600. Well, if I back these out to get the drill started here. So it works decently with the drill anyways, as long as you don't zip it down really quickly. I got four, so all you do now is clean up the floor joist here, of course on a crawl space, and probably add some insulation where it's falling down a couple areas, clean up the edges, and then get it put back down. Thinking about how I could use this power station, I came up with a really cool idea to try and film some barn owls that we have. You may have seen in a couple of the shorts I put out of these two barn owls that moved in. I have an old security camera system that I want to rig up down there, and I hope we'll get some really cool shots of these owls. They're just beautiful. Okay, I got the ladder and the little power station back behind the barn, I can look up through the back window and I can see one of the owls there. They're just beautiful. Barn owls are white, perfectly round face, are just gorgeous. Because we have 9.8 hours of power, I think that's what that means. And our output is 46 watts, so when I turn the monitor off, that'll definitely help that. I'm still going to move all this down to the lower level as well. But here's the different camera views I got, so I hope I can get one of the owls flying in or out in this angle. This one's facing to the outside, and I'll move that wire out of the way. I hope I can get one flying into the barn. And then this one is where they typically nest at, it's right up in this area. So hopefully we'll get some good shots of them here. I'm going to get this set up downstairs. And again, this wouldn't be possible if I didn't have this little power station thing, because I have no power down here in the barn. So of course tomorrow I'm going to have to come through and open the box up so I can get to the USB drive so I can take the film off. But that is good enough for now. Unfortunately we didn't get, we got 2 shots of an owl flying around, but it didn't go into the barn, it was just outside. And then it seemed like the system shut off about 7, 8 o'clock, somewhere around there. So, although I wish it would have lasted a little longer, you know, it is proof of concept that can do something like this with this little power station here. So they do have higher wattage. Again, this is a 600 watt. They do have an 1100 and then an 1800 watt. If it would have had something bigger, I'm sure the system would have lasted a lot longer. I'll get this plugged in and get it charged back up again. And then it's a pretty cool thing. I get to see what else I get to use it for. So it'll be kind of handy, especially if I'm on like a camping trip or something like that. We could plug this in and run a fan. Anyone who's camped in the summertime knows that it gets pretty hot inside a tent. But be able to use it for something along those lines. Or if we're in the camper and some of the campsites we go to, you can't use the generator after a certain time period. So we could use this to, you know, watch a show or run a router or, you know, all sorts of good things. So definitely handy to have. Kind of something, this one's nice and small. It'd be kind of good to fit in your car as a little backup, you know, in case you get stranded or something in the winter time. You know, you can use the feature there for if you're stuck. Actually, I'm mentioning the light works because I kind of wonder if it just turned off. Okay, so something clearly went wrong because this is still showing 93% and it was 99 when I left in there, so this should have lasted all night long. So I wish it had like an error guide or something which would tell me why it errored out. Because this should have lasted a lot longer than that now that I'm looking at it. If I'm at 93%. Huh. Yeah, I'll have to figure out what happened there and why it just shut off on me. Maybe it timed out because it wasn't sensing there was enough power. Not really sure. But, I mean, it still worked. I think if I get the solar panels, I'll be able to set up something even better. So we can sit out there and stay running for a while. We'll have to read the manual and see if it times out after a certain time period. The next day I went down to the barn and hooked the system back up. Still didn't quite get the shots I wanted, but these are a couple of the ones I did get.